Hi everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be using some masks. These are the new masks from the Dina Wakley January 2022 release. And I'm starting on my very first page of my journal. So it's a bit exciting. I don't usually start on the first page, but I did this time. Why not do something different? So I'm going in and tearing up some of the new Painted Marks tissue papers. I just wanted a little bit of collage in the background, and I like that this has got a lot of bold black in it, which really stands out in the background. So I thought to sort of play with the painted marks. I do a lot of painted marks over the top of this, and I was very inspired by the wonderful Claire Stead from Art Journal Love on Instagram. He's been doing a lot of these sort of patchworky, I think she calls it confetti backgrounds. They look like sort of lots of colourful confetti in the background. I just really loved the effect. And just reminded me to get my rainbow paints out again. So I'm just going in and just putting little strokes of paint onto my page. So lots of rainbow colours. I'm doing what I usually do when I'm do pages like this and working in groups of 3. So putting the patches of colour in 3 different places on my page. And the reason I do that is it sort of creates these visual triangles on the page. It's also just a really easy rule to follow, that, just so I know it's balanced, I know that I've got things in three spots. And, in cases when you've got that last little bit that's needs to be filled up, you can always just put an extra spot in somewhere. So I'm also going in with this cubed stencil and just rubbing away some of the paint, particularly over some of the collage paper I've got in the background. Because that's been sealed with gel medium, the paint rubs away really easily before it is dry, so it's a good one to use. So now I'm going in with this Painted Marks stencil. I really liked it because it just reminded me of fronds, so that's what I wanted to sort of create them into. So you can see I'm sort of joining them up, doing them at different angles to create on the page, and I'm going to overlap them as well. So you can see I've got the wider fronds there, and then I'll sort of top it off with the narrower fronds on top. Just because a stencil sort of looks like one way doesn't mean you can't use your imagination and turn it into something else. So I really like this one because it's very versatile. It's a great sort of chevron type image to use, but you could also use it as leaves. This second stencil is a stencil mask set called Sprouts, and it's got some great shapes on it. So again, I'm going in and stenciling over the top and sort of joining up all the bits and pieces together. So it's got the wider sort of daisy shapes, these wonderful leaves down the bottom, and just sort of layering them over the top of each other, so it sort of creates a bit of a scene. Now I was finding that everything was blending together a little bit, which wasn't what I wanted. Now I'm trying to find my right pens that work. And with the fronds in the background, I wanted to have sort of a stem connecting them together. So I'm just going in with a white pen to draw that in. And then I'm going in with a black pen and really, really loosely going around and highlighting my images. So I'm using really sketchy lines. Most of the lines have been gone over twice, so they sort of create the shapes, with the petals actually drawing the petals in, so I don't just have a sort of blob there. And I'm also putting a little bit of dots and shading onto the center part of the flowers, I suppose it is. So once I'd done the sprout images, I thought I'd go in and do the frondy ones at the back as well. Again, just to sort of pop them out from the background. Because that background is so busy with all that colour, I wanted to make the white pop a little bit more. Seems a bit strange by making the white pop by putting black around it, but that's how it goes. It sort of helps push it out from the background, so it makes stands out a little bit. And you can see that happening on the page now as I'm going through. Just by putting that little bit of black around it, it just really makes it look like a bunch of flowers rather than patterns in the background. So sometimes by putting that extra little bit of line work around your stenciling just helps to finish off the page. If it's looking a little bit lost, have a think about either using a black pen or a white pen and see how you can help create a stronger image on the page. The paint I'm using for the white was the Amsterdam Titanium White. It's very, very opaque paint, more so than some of the other whites that I use in my stash, particularly over my gesso. My gesso is not particularly opaque. And the reason I did that was because I really wanted the white to stand out. But even so, you can still see the strength of the colours in the background because you can still see them coming through. So if you wanted it to be really, really white, you may need to do 2 coats of paint over it. So just be aware that, you know, not all paints are equal, not all whites are white, and sometimes you might have to do more than 1 coat. So to make a little focal band on this, I tore out a piece of cardboard. I have trimmed it down to size. I edged the torn edges with a little bit of black ink, and I've put 2 stamps, and I will put the 3rd stamp in the middle. And these are all about moments. So this is a moment in your life. Hello moment, I'm here. And I think the next one I'm going to put on says little moments count. I am going in with a little bit of white paint because I was a little bit messy with my ink and put it places I didn't necessarily want it to be. So you can see that the white's pretty good because it's covered over that black archival ink. So that's the end of the page. A really simple page. Again, this sort of technique would make a great card. Tying it all together really, really easily. And just to finish it off, I'm going in with some gloss sprays, using some of the colours I had in the background and just splattering it over the top. I did also splatter it over the little title sheet that I've got there. If you wanted to, you could mask that off so the splatter didn't go on there. But I quite like that it's gone over the whole image. So I hope you have a go at using this. Really simple way to use stencils, drawing around them to help them pop out from the background. Until next time, bye for now.